Alright. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. Sorry if you can hear the AC in the background, but a little warm in my room, so sorry if it's too loud, but there you go. That should hopefully, because like I can hear the audio, I can hear the game audio, so that should be good. But yeah, no. So hope y'all are doing well. As some of you may have seen, I updated the thumbnail for the Steins video because my good friend Ikarus, shout out to him if you haven't uh, subscribed to his channel. I'll actually I'll link it. I'll link his channel now in the description. See if I can find it real quick. But yeah, no. So I was talking to him like, oh yeah, like I don't know what's going on with this video. It's not performing like I thought it would, which it happens. It's not out of the ordinary for something like that to happen. But he was like, oh, I think it's the thumbnail. I just don't think people are interested in the thumbnail. And we worked on it. He helped me out, and credit to him for helping me make this thumbnail because it is a lot better. I'm not gonna lie, it is significantly better. So yeah, what's it called? Shout out to him, and of course, let me link his channel in the stream. But yeah, so if you haven't watched the video yet, I do ask, not recommend. I'm not gonna do anything if you don't, but I appreciate it if you do. And yeah, it's gonna be, well, not gonna be. It's a video I'm really proud of. So yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, be in the description. But yeah. There you go. And also, I do want to mention though, thank you to the people who have watched it. Like I know I'm talking about like, oh, it's not performing as well as I thought it would, but it's also like I can't take for granted the people that did watch. Like that'd be disrespectful. So I really am appreciative of the people who have watched because you know you gave it a chance even if the thumbnail looked like garbage. So I appreciate that. But yeah, no. That being said, back on my Steins Gate 0 fourth stream and second stream of this week as well. I don't know if there's gonna be another one this week because I don't know how my week's looking tomorrow or whatever. But yeah, we got a second stream. We got a second stream. So that's fire. But yeah, again, like I said before, this game's long. I think it's longer than the original game. But what's it called? I'm not expecting it to finish like in a month. Like I would have to hard focus like 2 to 3 streams a week to finish it this month, or like, well, not this month, but like before the end of the year. So it would just be too much. So I'm gonna try to play this game as much when I can or when I want to while making videos, because right now just taking a little like week 2 week break from content because like that Science Game video really took it out of me, man. I was tired. So it's gonna be like one-off videos, of stuff that I've been meaning to watch, read, talk about. So the quality won't dip, but the runtime will definitely decrease. So, you know, just be ready for that. But yeah, no. Anyways, long intro aside. Last time we talked to Amadeus. We talked to Amadeus, and we got to see multiple perspectives. We got to see Maho. We got to see Mayuri and 3 of her friends who we have not seen before: Kaide, Katsumi, and Yuki. Always forget Katsumi's name because like they call her Fubuki-chan, which is her cosplayer name. I forgot that's her real name, like Katsumi is. But yeah, 3 new characters introduced last stream. So let's keep going. Now we're with Suzuha in her perspective. Suzuha Amane was about to run out of patience. The cause of the young man in the room with her father. Itaru Ishida, aka Daru, his massively obese body was leaning forward over a computer monitor, and he had a dopey grin on his face. He'd finally gotten up around 11 a.m., gulped down 3 cups of instant ramen, and was now surfing the internet. Alright, man.
なんですとリア充メッセピーとパルテノン氏って夫婦だったん何それ聞いてねえし
It's cool, like I thought the rub was what's it called? Perusing the internet. I do it. I'm trying to make my livelihood off of the internet, but it's gotta have a healthy balance, man. It's gotta have a healthy balance of being outside and inside, and Daru is wholeheartedly inside. With Okabe in the last game, he was 25% outside, 75% inside. That's mostly because the game, like before the game, he was just inside with my Yuri and going to school. That's it. Like nothing really crazy. Alright, Parthenon, a female freelance illustrator. She primarily does illustrations for Nico Nia video and Vocalo songs. Vocaloid, yeah. And is mostly popular with young women. There you go. Normies Must Die P, a Vocalo producer. So weird. 2 of his videos have exceeded over 1 million views. Popular for his unique worlds he builds with his lyrics. As his name suggests, many of his songs criticize normies or criticize himself for not having any friends. His songs are a source of support for viewers in similar dire straits. His songs always feature images by the same illustrator, Parthenon, and her cute illustrations are another source of popularity. Quiche, a traditional French dish made by filling a pie crust with cream, cheese, eggs, meat, and vegetables, then cooking it to a flaky golden brown. I'd never had a quiche before. I have heard of it, but I never had it.
つうかリア充メッセーとか名乗ってる本人がリア充じゃんリアルに嫁いるとか汚すぎるぐぬぬぬぬぼっちの味方だと思ってたのにこんなん戦争だろ炎上必至だろうおと思ったらもうアットちゃんもツイポも炎上してた件について僕として
Alrighty, Tweeter. The name of a microblogging software app allows for tweets up to 140 characters in length. Tweets from other users you follow can be viewed in a timeline. Allowing it for it to be used as a chat program. Yeah, so we all know it's not known as Twitter anymore.
ことが出遅れたこれまでの流れをちゃんとチェックしないと父さんはい
That's what Suzuha called her father. It's who he was, after all, so there was nothing else to call him. Suzuha was a time traveler from the year 2036, and 7 years from now, he would become her father.
いい加減にしなよ。一日中ゴロゴロして食べるかネットを見るかゲームをしてるかばっかり。
All you ever do is play porn games, eat, and jerk off.
即席麺やお菓子ばかり食べてると体に病変を生じるって警告しても治そうともしない。
In fact, his PC desk was covered with snacks. She cleaned it regularly, but it never seemed to make a difference.
運動だってしろって言ってるのに全然しない。
Suzuha realized she was complaining more than usual, but she had to say it anyway.
そんなんじゃ将来。
And as she realized that Itaru wasn't even listening to her, his eyes were fixed on a computer monitor. He moved his mouse out of sight, but she could still hear the click. Yeah, this dude's such a bot. Oh my gosh. But she could still hear him clicking it.
話を聞きなさい。
Let me see. Suzuha approached her father from behind and put the hairspray can she'd been hiding up to his neck. Ah, okay, so he thinks it's a gun. Which, granted, she's really good at making it seem like it's a gun, but Ikarus didn't think it was a gun. He stuck his hands up. Threats like this worked. They worked because she told him that she survived the Third World War and the wars and chaos of 2036, and that she was ready to draw a gun and pull the trigger whenever she needed to.
Suzuha, やめてくんないと父さん怒っちゃう。
怒られるのは父さんの方。
はい、すみません。でもさ、僕の秘密の仕事知ってるっしょ？あれが結構忙しいんだよ。僕ぐらいのハッカーになると引く手あまたでさ。食事も適当に済ませざるを得ないっつうか。海外のクライアント相手だと時差もあって昼夜逆転しちゃうっつうか。
未来の父さんもそんなことばっかり言って母さんに叱られてた。100歩譲って睡眠周期は仕方ないとしても、これ以上健康を損ねるような食事は許容範囲外。即刻中止すること。いい？
だけど仕事もそうだけどタイムマシンの研究が大変なんだ。癒しが欲しいんだよね僕。
そうやって言い訳してすぐだらけようとする。甘えてるよ父さん。
Suzuha was always amazed that her dad managed to survive the future's wars. But since the time machine research would affect the future, and eventually Suzuha's very presence here, she couldn't tell him to stop. Even after Okabe and Daru stopped coming to the Future Gadget Lab, Daru had kept working on the time machine all by himself. Suzuha never said a word about it. If she did, it might create a time paradox.
タイムマシンを作るのに未来から来たタイムマシンを精査しちゃダメだからね。
She decided to warn him again.
分かってるよそんなこと。でも時々自信なくなるんだよね。僕本当にタイムマシンなんて作るん？
To be fair,
当然だよ。しっかりして。
you can't ask him to make a time loop, or excuse me, I keep saying time loop machine. You can't expect Daru to make a time machine by himself. He's the one. He's the engineer. He's not the brain behind it. Granted, he's not dumb. I'm not trying to say that either. It's just the fact that like Okabe and Daru made it together. Of course, Makise made it together too, but in this timeline they didn't. But someone else was there to replace her.
はい。
Suzuha took the hairspray can off his neck.
てっきり銃だと思ったらなんというハッタリ。父さんを騙すなんてひどいよ。
次は本物使うからね。
それマジ勘弁。
Suzuha put the can of hairspray back on the shelf. It was something Rintaro Kabe had left here when he lived in the lab. It was still here, since its owner never came back for it.
漫画とかゲームだとさ、父親を叱る娘ってのはもっとこう燃えるんだけどな。鈴葉ちょっとさ、もうダメだよパパって言ってみてくんない？できれば甘やかすような口調で。
Yeah, I feel the same way.
なんでもないでござる。
Yeah, cause oh my gosh, man. Oh, good lord. Oh, okay. So, Daru's such a hard character to like. He's so important. He's so important to the story, but the game doesn't utilize him much, right? At least the original Steins didn't. And then when he is utilized, he's like this. So it's like, even when he's on screen, I don't even want him to be here. But when he's not on screen, it's like he's supposed to be an important character. So why isn't he here? It's like, man, Daru. Her dad shrank from Suzuha's glare. Suzuha sighed loudly and dropped herself on the sofa. She leaned back against the headrest and stared at the ceiling, then closed her eyes.
どうしたん？
なんでも。
Oh, it's something.
隠しても無駄なのだぜ。鈴葉の何でもないってのは話を聞いてほしいって意味っしょ。
Smart man. Smart
ほ
man.
ら、話してみるといいよ。
Daru sounded very serious. Suzuha's eyes went wide for a moment, but then she realized.
そのセリフ、この前プレイしてたギャルゲーにあったよね。
え、
それでフラグが成立するんだっけ？
Oh, wait, I didn't mean to. Dang, bro. Using porn game. Crazy. Flag, computer game lingo. A type of foreshadowing that means a common trope is about to occur. For example, an XXXX flag means that sometime in the future, XXXX will happen. Death flags and love flags are common examples. She'd been living here for 3 months. She was starting to learn a little bit about Akihabara's culture circa 2010.
父さん、間違っても私を落とそうとか思わないでよね。
Ew.
ねえよ、実の娘にそんなことしないって。
Yeah, that's
本当か
weird.
な？未来の父さんはちょっと怪しかった。
え、
私が思春期になってからもよく一緒にお風呂入ろうって誘われたな。
何それ怖い。
私は軍属だったし、父さんはタイムマシンの開発に追われてたからいつも一緒にいられるわけじゃなかったけど、とにかくベタベタしてきたよ。鬱陶しいくらいにね。
Alright, now that's different. Asking to take baths with your daughter when she's a teenager, that's weird. Being huggy around your own daughter, I think that's fine. At the end of the day, like, you know, that's your daughter, that's your child. Of course, that's fair. But taking baths, that's weird. Her dad honestly looked depressed, and she realized that she'd gone too far.
父さんはさ、いつも私に言ってくれてたよ。ここは最低最悪の世界線だけど、私が誕生したことだけは最高だって。私、未来の父さんを失望させたくないんだ。だから絶対にオカリンおじさんを説得しなきゃ。
大丈夫、失望したりしないって絶対に。
そうかな。
うん。
Well, yeah, no, he is right. At the end of the day, that's the father in him speaking. Y'all go Dead by Daylight. Let's see. Oh, he's sorry. Alright, sorry. I just had to check the ending route that I'm going for because, like, there is an ending that I want to see first because, well, because I can't say anything yet because I don't want to spoil it, but, oh, here. Oh my goodness, sorry. Anyways, yeah.
けどね、おじさんはどうしても話を聞いてくれないよ。このままじゃおじさんは過去へ行かない。マキセ・クリスを救出しない。シュタインズゲートにも到達しない。
Steins Gate. That was the name of the mysterious world line her dad had told her about in 2036, where World War III might not occur. Leading Rentaro or Okabe Rentaro to that world line was her mission. But right now it wasn't going well. Suzuha, excuse me, sorry. Whoa, is this old? It's not old. Okay, good. Suzuha had come to 2036. to the 2010, and just like the mission had called for, she succeeded in sending Okabe Rintaro to July 28th. But then he failed. And he wasn't going to try again. Every time they met, she tried to convince him, but who knew if her words were having any effect.
結局第三次世界大戦に世界線は収束して大勢の人たちが殺戮される。それを変えるために私は来たのに何もできない運命なのかな。
Suzuha had something else she had to do here in Akihabara in December 2010. Besides convincing Okabe Rintaro, and it meant she was running around every day. The exhaustion was starting to take its toll on her. During the war, she'd been able to keep herself sharp at all times, and this level of exhaustion wouldn't have meant anything. The relaxed atmosphere in 2010 was actually making her realize how tired she was. She was feeling very sleepy right now, actually. She was surprised at how willing she was to fall asleep in such an undefended position, but she didn't think she could beat the temptation. And then suddenly she felt something extremely cold on the back of her neck. She snapped awake in an instant. Her movements after that were lightning quick. She jumped up and stood behind a massive body in front of her, which obviously belonged to Daru, then grabbed his arm and twisted it as she dropped him to the floor. She went to draw the gun at her hip, and her hand swept through empty air, and she came back to reality. Her gun was hidden. She wasn't carrying it. It was in 2036. Ouchies. 2 cans of Dr. P clattered to the floor. That must have been what he put on her neck.
何するの父さん。
さっきのお返しだお。
ぼーっとしてたから危うく殺しちゃうとこだったよ。そういう訓練受けてきたんだからシャレじゃ済まないんだって。
わかったから話してくださり。言いたいでござるの巻。
まったくもう。
Suzuha let her father go. Itaro rubbed his arm and stood up, then grabbed the cans of Dr. P off the floor. He offered one to Suzuha.
つうかさ、諦めんの早すぎだろ。もうちょっと頑張ってみるのだぜ。多分オカリンは疲れて眠ってるだけだから、今みたいに冷たい毒ペでも首筋に当ててやれば飛び起きるんじゃね。
Hey! Oh wow, I'm sorry. I forgot I'm streaming. I over here playing Juice WRLD because of my Instagram thing, and I could have got copyright struck. Like, oh man.
なんせほら、あのオカリンだし。
She realized her dad was trying to cheer her up and nodded. Then she heard footsteps coming up the stairs and some slightly off-key humming. Their eyes met. Just the sound was enough to tell them who it was. It was Yuki!
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Suzuha moved fast. Maybe even faster than when she knocked her father to the ground. She quickly and silently jumped behind the curtain that separated the lab's development room from the rest of it. Just as she hid beneath the desk, there was a knock at the door. Suzuha knew that voice, of course. It was her mom. She could tell from the noises he was making that her dad was panicking. There was another knock.
はいはい今出る
Itaru went to open the door. Suzuha took a deep breath and concentrated her mind. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I feel so out of breath. Oh man, sorry. Okay. She remembered the time she spent 3 days and 3 nights on a battlefield with no food and nothing to drink, constantly aiming her rifle at the target. She erased any trace of her presence that could give her away. Her breathing started to become shallow. Dad, don't screw this up, okay?
天音今日はまゆしと待ち合わせ
So, Suzuha confirmed it. Yuki is Suzuha's mom, and Yuki is the one who gets with Daru in the future. They come together to have Suzuha, and I mentioned it in the video I made that you'll find out who she is here. There's a lot to Yuki's character, so you know it's not just like, oh, she's the love interest. Like, no, there's a lot. There's a lot. So, but I like Yuki. I think she's sweet. A lot older than Daru, or well, not a lot older. It's not significant. What was it? Yeah, she's 21 and he's 18, probably 19 now. Who knows? Let's see, actually, because if it's like, sorry, I'm nerding out about this because I'm just generally interested. Steins wiki fandom. Then we go to characters. We go to Daru because he's third, which kind of crazy that he's above my Yuri in this case, but whatever. Daru. Daru's 20? No, Daru's 19. He's 20 and the end of Steins Gate 0. Okay, yeah. And then Okabe. Yeah, he's 18 turned 19. Wow. Wow, that's kind of crazy actually. Wait. Daru's older than him. I never... Wow. Oh, wow. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. We live in a simulation. Well, yeah. Daru by now is 19. There's only a 2-year age gap between him and Amane. Excuse me, Yuki. Itaru came back into the room with the girl.
お料理の特訓をすることになっているんですけど。
I love cooking. She could hear plastic bags rustling. She must have brought her.
まゆし来てないんだよね
There you go. She must have brought the ingredients. There you go.
そうですか。ちょっと来るの早かったかな。
Yuki Amane. Just as the name Amane suggested, she was Suzuha's mother in the future. In other words, the two of them in the other room were supposed to get married.
まあ約束があるならそのうち来るんじゃないかな
待っていてもいいですか？
もちろんここで料理もするんでしょ
はい。橋田さんもぜひ味見してくださいね。
That's sweet.
まゆしのはあんまり食べたくないよ
大丈夫ですよ。まゆりちゃんすごく上達してるんですから。
へへ
Itaru was clearly nervous. As far as Suzuha knew, the only girl he acted that way around was Yuki Amane. Suzuha and Mayuri were practically family, and he got along fine with Big Sis Rumi, Ferris Nyanyan, who worked at Maid Cafe next door. Next door? It's like a couple blocks away. So it wasn't that he didn't know how to act around girls, but for some reason he always acted different when she was around. She told him that Yuki was... Why would you tell him that would be his wife someday? It was too late to do anything about it, but maybe that was a mistake. She thought it was. It was significant.
今日は妹さんはお留守ですか？
えあうん
そうですか。
Itaru Shida's sister was none other than Suzuha herself. Around the same time Suzuha started spending all the time in the lab, Yuki had become friends with Mayuri and Itaru and began visiting more frequently. This meant that which meant that avoiding her was almost impossible, so she was forced to tell Yuki that she was Itaru's little sister. But still, she wanted to keep contact to a minimum in order to keep Yuki from finding out somehow. That was why she was hiding.
そうそう、どうですこの服。この前買ったんですけど。
Yuki showed no signs of noticing Suzuha. She's tooling around in the center of the room as if she was at a fashion show. Yuki was a cosplayer and wanted as many people as possible to see her dressed up. Mayuri had told Suzuha that once before. In fact, Yuki and Mayuri spent a lot of time complimenting each other's outfits.
いいよ、すごくいい。
本当ですか？
うわー、天使来たこれって感じ。
ありがとうございます。橋田さんもおしゃれしましょうよ。ちょっとだけ痩せれば結構素敵だと思うな。
はははは。
私本気ですよ。
お。
Oh. Itaru Hashida and Yuki Amane. As she listened to their awkward conversation, Suzuha remembered the last time she said goodbye to her dad. (2036) August 13th. Almost 8 o'clock.
父さん、治安部隊が万世橋まで来てる。
Wow. Manseibashi, one of the bridges on the south side of Akihabara that crosses over the Kondo River. The original Manseibashi was built in a different spot when new Manseibashi Bridge was built in its current location. The old bridge became known as Old Manseibashi until it was taken down altogether in 1906. The bridge only came into this current arc shape after several rebuildings, including one after the Great Kanto earthquake.
ということは、ここが発見されるのも時間の問題かな。あらかじめ流しておいた偽の情報も効果なかったか。
急ごう。
おう、開けるぞ。
すごい。こんなところに扉があったなんて。これなら誰にも見つからないね。
Man, just look at this, man. On a rooftop, I guess Radio Kaiken. It looks like Radio Kaiken. But genuinely, the future timeline, so interesting. I love the art style for it. It's so distinct.
そう、中へ。
ここって。
The room was almost totally empty and covered from top to bottom in soundproofing materials. Not only were there no windows, there wasn't even a door to the hallway. The building they were in was once a symbol of old Akihabara before it was almost entirely destroyed by an air raid during the last days of the Third World War. Only a few people knew about the secret room inside it. The biggest reason was its secret, a silhouette of what looked like a satellite sitting in a corner.
これタイムマシンだよね。これがタイムマシン？
So you guys don't know who that is, but I do. I know.
かがり。
Well,
危ないからあんまり近づくな。
there you go. Never mind. You know who it is. So that's Kaguri. Very, very interesting character, and some would say divisive, but we haven't gotten to that yet, so you'll see. But yeah, no. We got the 20. What's it called? We got the 2036 designs for these characters right now, and we have Mayuri. We have Daru, who doesn't look much different except that he has a lab coat on. Well, honestly, he looks more like the original Steins one. And then we have Suzuha, who looks like the end of or chapter 11 Suzuha from the original game. Suzuha spoke to a little girl clutching Mayuri's hand. Most of the children in this era had skin inflammation somewhere on their body from all the radioactive rain, but she didn't. Her name was Kaguru Shina. Her registration form said she was 10 years old, but no one knew if that was true. She was an orphan who'd lost her parents in the Tokyo air raids when she was a baby, and nobody even knew her birthday. The name Kaguru had been given to her by Mayuri, who was working at the child welfare center that had taken her in. She took it from the word What? She took it from the word Kagaribi. Kagaribi? Kagaribi? Let me look it up so I don't mispronounce it. Pronunciation. Oh, Kagaribi, yeah, Kagaribi. Alright. She took it from the name. She took it from the word Kagaribi, meaning bonfire, and hoped that she could be the light and even be a light even in these dark days. It had been 4 years since Mayuri had adopted her, and her name on the registration form had become Kaguru Shina.
綺麗だね、ママ。そうね。
I know what biometrics are. There you go. The use of fingerprints, voice recognition, vein, iris scanning, etc. instead of a password. Oh, whoa. Wait. Alright, Suzuha motioned for the Shinas to step back and put her right hand and right eye up to the time machine's sensor. The biometrics check cleared, and the hatch slid open. She went inside and fastened herself into the seat.
これほど長時間の有人ジャンプは初めてだが、技術的には全く問題ない。これまでのテストジャンプ通りやればいいからな。
オーキードーキー。
Suzuha began to flip switches, working her way through the startup procedure. She practiced it hundreds of times in preparation for this day. The faint rumble from the machine began to grow louder.
データによれば、昔のラジカンはちょうどこの場所が屋上になってる。ただし、高さが1メートルほどずれてるからな。着地するときに衝撃があると思う。
了解。
The time machine can move through time but not space. To arrive at the radio building, more than 60 years in the past, she needed to launch from right here.
トラブルが起きても冷静にな。トレーニングを思い出せばいい。
大丈夫だよ。私は父さんのマシンを信じてるから。
Her words must have meant a lot to him because he stuck out his lips toward her. She squished him back with her hand.
気持ち悪い。
悲しいな。鈴葉は父さんが嫌いかい？
父さんがやるとなんか下心があるみたいだから。
いくらなんでも娘相手に下心なんてねえよ。
He said the same thing even
最
back
近
then.
母さんに似てきたハスハスとか言ってたのはどこの誰？
Ew. Her mother wasn't here. She'd become a victim of the war, brutally killed by the peacekeeping squads.
冗談を真に受けないでくれたまえ。
なんだ、冗談だったの？
Suzuha's voice sounded kind of disappointed. She set the destination for August 13th, 1975. Her first mission was there.
これでよし。それじゃあ父さん、マヨ姉さん。
She was about to say her goodbyes, but then...
屋上からだ。突入してくるぞ。
くそ、思ったより早い。
Suzuha drew her gun from her holster. She was about to get out of the time machine, but her dad stopped her.
ダメだ。さっさと飛べ。
でも父さんたちが。
俺たちのことはいい。早く行け、鈴葉。
そんな、だって。
メイシー、係ちゃんを。このマシンにはもう一人乗れる。
Yuri and Suzuha's father picked up the stunned Calgary and stuffed her into the time machine. There you go.
すずちゃん、かがりをお願い。わかった。
If Suzuha's mission succeeded, the world line would be rebuilt, and it was likely that the present Kagura would cease to exist. It might have been pointless to send her. But even so, a mother wants her child to live. That's how Suzuha's mom was too.
ママ。
Kagura finally seemed to understand what was going on. She called out to her mom.
やだ。やだよ。いや。
Oh, let me see something real quick. Yeah, right. Okay, we haven't been going for too long. Just that these sections can go really long for some reason. Don't know why.
大丈夫だよ。かがりちゃん。すずちゃんが一緒だから。ね。ダメ。ママも一緒じゃなきゃダメ。過去へ行けば昔のママがいるよ。今よりずーっと若くて、かがりちゃんびっくりするだろうな。
Mayuri handed Kaguri a tiny keychain. It looked old and may have been brightly colored green once, but now it was completely faded.
ママがずっと大切にしてきたウーパのキーホルダーだよ。かがりちゃんにあげる。大事にしてね。
Fictional, the mascot character Rainet Kaku anime. A dog-like virtual pet with an egg-shaped cylindrical body and short, stubby arms and legs. Comes in many different colors. It can't talk, but it can communicate by crying Oopa or Oopa. Once it was pressed firmly into Kaguri's hand, she stepped back. Mayuri was smiling but weeping at the same time.
いや、行きたくない。ママと一緒にいる。ママ、ママ。ダメ。かがり、おとなしくしてなさい。
Kaguri felt silent immediately. Even Suzuha had never heard Mayuri use that tone of voice. That's how harshly she scolded her daughter. Kaguri was quietly weeping, unmoving.
閉めるぞ。
This time, the hatch really did begin to close. The inside of the machine and the outside of it. The two worlds are about to be completely cut off from one another. Whether Suzuha's mission was successful or not, she would probably never see any of them again.
本当にかがりをお願いね。あと、おかりに伝えて。スタインズゲートは必ずあるって。
絶対に諦めるな。大バカ野郎。ってな。
オキドキ。
Then the door was sealed shut, and Mayuri and Ataru's voices disappeared along with the chaos outside.
父さん、大好き。
She whispered towards the door, and now it sealed shut.
行くよ、かがり。かっこいい。
She booted up the time machine.
橋田さん、掃除機はどこ？
Suzuha snapped back to reality. Yuki was getting closer to the development room she was hiding in.
そのカーテンの危な。
この奥？
ああ、僕が持ってくる。
He told her motion for her to stop and then quickly set into the room. There you go. As he reached down to pick the vacuum off the floor, his gaze locked with Suzuha's as she hid under the desk.
バレないようにしてよ、父さん。
オキドキ。
ありましたか、掃除機。
あ、うん。
Evidently, Yuki was trying to be nice by cleaning up. The place is pretty messy right now. Knowing Yuki's personality, Suzuha can imagine she'd want to clean it. Sorry, I gotta make sure that the audio isn't messing up.
何ですかそれ。
未来ガジェット5号機。分解すれば普通の掃除機として使えるはず。
お掃除するための掃除機なのに、分解したらかえって散らかすことになりません
？Yuki doesn't know about Future Gadget or Future. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Future Gadget number 5. Once again, I made a worthless object by going on. Future Gadget number 5. The future future gadget of your dreams, made by connecting a dryer and a vacuum. It uses the exhaust from the vacuum in the dryer. The name comes from the famous anime about a phantom thief, Lupance III. I mean, wasn't it Okabe who made it?
橋田さんって頭がいいのに時々うっかりなことしますよね。
そうかな。
でもそういう人の方が私好きだな。
なんだと？
You know, when you look at these two together, it's like, wow, Yuki's so cute, and then wow, Daru, and that's it, right? You sigh because it's like Daru could be. He's limiting himself. He's limiting himself by being complacent, and you look at these two, and it's like, oh wow, these two get together in the future. It's not because it's the outside of the man that makes him. It's what's inside. At the end of the day, this man has good character, which sounds crazy because of what he says. He's a pervy gentleman. He calls himself that. He wears that title with pride. But he has good character, and we're gonna see that. But trust and believe, there's a reason why she falls for him. But also, I want to say, she really makes it obvious that she likes him. Like it's well, not obvious, but like definitely more. It's not a lot of subtlety there. There you go. Daru started to panic again and Suzuha's side.
ただ生活については見直した方がいいと思うんです。お部屋の掃除はできれば毎日した方がいいですよ。ここ特に埃っぽいですし。それだけじゃありません。食事のこともそうです。今日もカップ麺だったんでしょ？
なんで知ってるん？
お台所に食べ残したまま放置されてます。
なるほど。
それにお菓子もこんなにたくさん。食べ過ぎだっていつも言ってるのに。
一応気をつけてはいるのだぜ。うん。
一応じゃダメです。あんまりカップ麺やお菓子ばかり食べてると病気になっちゃいますよ。あと少しは運動すること。
Wow, like mother, like mother, like Chizi, like daughter, like mother. There you go. Yuki Imane was saying the exact same thing that Suzuha had just said. Perhaps they really were mother and child. Suzuha was just beginning to feel a little homesick when she sensed another visitor approaching. It's my Yuri! My Yushi desu. The door to her lab opened, and a greeting she'd heard many times before resounded throughout the room.
ごめんね、ユキさん。ちょっと遅れちゃった。
It was Mayuri come to see Yuki, but there's another presence there too. Look who it is!
まゆりちゃん、こんにちは。
Look who it is!
岡部さんも一緒だったんですね。
Yo! Oh, come on.
オカリン、久しぶりじゃん。
Oh, come on.
ああ、久しぶり。
久しぶりだな。 Okari. When she heard his voice, Suzuha ground her teeth a little. She's mouthing.
興味深いわね。
Yikes. So as you probably noticed, a lot of time has passed since the last time we, not like played, but like since the last time we saw. Yeah, I'd say since the last time we saw Kabe, I'd say, because the last time we saw him was like November 29th. Yeah, sorry, December 5th. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Oh man.
なんだって？
聞こえなかった？興味深いと言ったの。
まさか行きたいとか言い出すんじゃないだろうな。
ぜひお願い。
話すべきじゃなかったな。
I was standing in the middle of Ikebukuro with a smartphone in one hand staring up at the sky. I've been talking to the Amadeus Kurisu as much as possible lately. Sometimes I would contact her and sometimes Kurisu would contact me. Didn't feel any different than having a friend who lived in the real world. Talking on a smartphone in a crowded place like this was a little embarrassing, but I told myself that compared to the things I used to do, it was nothing. I chosen harmless topics for our discussion. But it still reminded me so much of talking to the old Kurisu that sometimes I forgot myself. I'd done just that now when I accidentally told her about the lab. She had seized on it.
あんたが今話したそのラボ、オリジナルの私は行ったことが？
ああ。いや。
はっきりしないわね。どっち？
ないよ。
Kurisu had been a part of the lab in the Alpha World Line. In this world line, she died before ever becoming a lab member. Of course, she'd never even known where it
お前
was.
は勘違いしているようだから言っておく。ラボと言ってもラボじゃない。ただのお遊びサークルだ。それに
Suzuha was living there right now, and Daru spent a lot of time there. If they found out about Kurisu, things could get complicated.
言いかけてやめないでほしいわけだが。
なんでもない。
いずれにせよ、外の世界をいろいろ見て回ってみたい。今までは先輩や教授と話す時も研究室の中ばかりだったから。
だからこうして日曜の朝っぱらから池袋を案内してやっているだろう。
10 a.m., even at this hour. The area in front of the Ikebukuro station was crowded. It was going to get even more crowded as it got closer to
な
noon.
んなら乙女ロードまで連れて行く覚悟はしていたんだけどな。
何よそれ？
お前の知らない世界が広がっている場所だな。
待って、今調べた。
本当に興味が湧いたか？
そんなわけあるか。とにかく今日はあんたのラボに連れて行ってよ。私に話して聞かせた以上、責任を取りなさい。よろしくね。
And then she hung up. It was like I was her own personal taxi service. Kurisu couldn't move around on her own, so there was no getting around that,
ま
but
ったくわがままなやつめ。
she didn't seem to think very highly of me. This way, she might start treating me worse than a servant. The real Kurisu was one thing, or no, maybe it wasn't, but being treated that way by the artificial Kurisu was incredibly humiliating. Wouldn't it be humiliation for all of humanity? No, just you.
これはなんとかすべきかもしれん。
As I mumbled to myself.
あれ？オカリ？
Yuri called out to me. She was carrying a lot of bags. It was probably materials for one of her costumes.
ねえねえ、今誰かと話してなかった？
お今のは大学のゼミの友達だ。
そっか。今日も遊びに行くの？
いや 今日は別に予定はない。まゆりはこれからバイトか？
ラボでユキさんと待ち合わせ。
ラボ。
Is this good timing or bad
そう
timing?
だ、オカリンも久しぶりに一緒に行かない？ユキさんの手料理も食べられるよ。それとね、マユシーも頑張って作る予定なのです。どうかな？
In the end, I went with her.
えへへ。
ずいぶん嬉しそうだな。
嬉しいよ。
Mira had been smiling the whole time, but I was the opposite. The minute I got here, I was so nervous I felt like I was about to throw up. I didn't really want to see Suzuha.
おお、岡部じゃねえか。
お、
Yeah, so they didn't update his sprite. You can really tell. Well, no, they did slightly. It yeah, it doesn't have the textures that it did back in the old game, but it's a little updated, but it's still the same art style. You can tell the difference between this art style and the new one. Yeah, it's a significant difference. But yeah, unfortunately, no new Tennoji Braun or Tennoji Yugo art style update. But oh well, it is what it is. Anyways, the Braun Tube Workshop, a CRT TV shop located on the first floor of the multi-purpose Ubiyama building in Suruhiro-cho. At the very back of the store is a very rare 42-inch CRT TV. Yugo Tennoji, the owner of the store, also owns the building. It only gets a few customers a day, but strangely enough, it's been one of the few stores that survived over the years in the constantly changing landscape of Akihabara. Akihabara, I keep saying it wrong.
店長さん、てってる
おう、
ー。うわー、T シャツ1枚で寒くないですか？
鍛えてるからな。
Yeah, that's what they say because they didn't update his sprite. But I've been living in the lab, I given him the nickname Mr. Braun. Been a long time since I've seen
岡
him.
部、その様子じゃちゃんと大学生やってるみたいじゃねえか。
どうも。そういえば家賃ってどうしてるんだっけ？
I asked Mayuri instead of him. He used to give it directly to Zenoji, but
橋田がちゃんと振り込んでくれてるから安心しな。
そうですか。
おう。
this man, was he around during this book line too? There was no way I could ask him. Not gonna. I want to do this one just to troll her. Huh? What? No, absolutely not. Alright, hold on. Let me. Okay. So, how did things go with Ikarus after that? I want to talk to Maho too. Huh? What? No. But. Don't say that. Let me switch between the two of them. Not happening. Not for you. Sorry, it was a joke. Damn. I didn't think you got so mad. If you knew your electronic double could be spilling secrets about your private life and you'd have no clue, it would freak you out too. I mean, I knew it shouldn't happen, but doesn't mean it won't. You're right. It's a cute. Yo, Okami still got it, bro. It's not fully there, but it's still there. Oh man, that's so funny. So can I switch? So can you let me switch between them? Yo, bro, I love Mao so much, man. Oh my gosh. Oh man, that's so funny. Alright. There was no way I could ask him. I couldn't help but be wary of him. That's why I started to put some distance between us. Nothing else, I avoided trying to interact with him.
じゃあね、あんま暴るんなよ。
Tanoji saw that I got silent and went back inside. Mayuri looked over at me with a worried
大
expression.
丈夫？やっぱり帰る？
行こう。
Tanoji didn't matter. What mattered was, why was I here? Did I feel like something needed to change? Or did I really want to show courage to the lab? Ah, that's a good question. I went up the stairs, still unsure of the answer.
てるー。
Mayushi asked. Mayuri went in first.
ごめんね、ゆきさん。ちょっと遅れちゃった。まゆりちゃん、こんにちは。
I peeked inside the room. Daru and Yuki were there. Their eyes went wide and they saw me.
岡部さんも一緒だったんですね。
お、オカリン、久しぶりじゃん。
わあ、久しぶり。
I quickly scanned the room. There was no sign of Suzuha. Part of me was a little relieved.
入っても。
自分のラボで遠慮とか
I
ね
was
えよ。
gonna say, man, it's your apartment.
それもそうか。さすがにこの状況でクリスを呼び出すことはできなさそうだな。
I followed my ear to the lab and tried to relax my legs by sitting on the couch. But I didn't feel relaxed at all. I felt like my skin was crawling. I glanced over at Yuki.
ゆきさん、そのお洋服かわいい。
So same one she was wearing
まゆり
yesterday.
ちゃんにそう言ってほしくて着てき
Well,
た
not
んだ
yesterday.
よ。
When they were hanging out.
いいなあ。まゆしも着てみたいのです。後でお洋服取り替えっこしてみる？サイズ合うかな？
No. I heard about Yuki's future from Suzuha too. I still couldn't believe someone as pretty was going to marry Daru. Oh wow, wait, hold on. So I don't know if this is actually important or not. But oh, I got a message. Anyways, yeah, so does it matter? Shut up. Let me save first before I do anything, just in case I. There you go. I'll unlock it.
なんだ。
そろそろラボに着いた頃かと思って。
Yeah. Amadeus is a demon. Oh my goodness, I'm about to slime you out, bro. I'm gonna kill you. There you go. Alright. Alright, sorry. Anyways, yeah. I'm gonna slime you out, bro. I'm gonna kill you. I ran into the development room in the back, clutching my smartphone. Oh no! Guess who's back?
お前結構暇なんだな。
That'd be so funny if we could see Suzuha under the table. That'd be so funny.
どうして声を潜める？もしかして私のことをお友達には知られたくないとか？
You're messing with things you do not understand. I hadn't even checked with Maho and Dr. Luskin to see if it was okay to tell the people about Amadeus.
まあいいわ。状況はなんとなく理解した。
Kurisu lowered her voice as well.
少しでいいから部屋の中を見せて。カメラを掲げてくれるだけでいい。
まったく。
I sighed, held the smartphone to my chest, and I spun around once, like I was taking the video with my camera. Yo, bro, frying the hell out of me, bro. Oh my
最初の
god,
感想がそれか。
it's just so funny. I know I said it last stream, but bro, really talking to the AI.
ごめん、言い直す。ガラクタだらけね。
That wasn't much better. It wasn't. He's right. Well, it was true.
研究室というのはどこも雑然となるものだけど、それにしてもこれはひどい。真帆先輩の下宿先といい勝負ね。
Not rude. Hold on.
そういう個人のプライバシーを暴露してもいいのか？
あんたからも先輩に言っておいて、部屋はちゃんと片付けた方がいいって。
そんなこと言ったら噛みつかれそうだ。
まあ、でも
Kurisu paused and smiled.
こういうルームシェアみたいなの少し憧れてた。人が集まってるところを見ると居心地はいいんでしょうね。
クリス。
Yeah, Kurisu in the Alpha World line said the same thing.
お前は本当は
Oh, you said the
お
same
じ
thing.
さん、誰と話してるの？
I suddenly heard a girl. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Let me lock in. Oh man. I suddenly heard a girl's voice from under her desk and was so surprised I screamed.
黙って。
お前スザ
Is she hiding? But why? Daru, Mayuri, and Yuki heard me scream and ran over to see what the problem was.
おかり、どうしたの？あれ、そこにいるの、鈴葉さん？あっちゃー。
Suzuha looked upset. So then I realized who she was hiding from.
次のニュースです。明和党の駒沢康和衆議院議員が企業から不正献金を受けていた問題で、駒沢議員は今日10時から記者会見し、議員辞職する意向を表明しました。
Someone had left the TV on and it was playing the afternoon news. Suzuha knew no one was watching it, but she used her remote to turn the volume up on it anyway. She wanted to keep the girls in the shower room from hearing us. I could hear Mayuri and Yuki laughing from the shower. Things had gotten really awkward when Yuki had found Suzuha, but Mayuri quickly came up with a plan. At first, her plan was for the three of them, including Suzuha, to shower naked. What? What? So let me get this straight, right? Mayuri, in this game and last game, her solution to things is let's shower naked together. She did it with Kurisu and she's doing it with Yuki. What are we talking about? What? Okay, at first her plan was for the three of them, including Suzuha, to shower naked together. and hopefully get Yuki and Suzuha more comfortable around each other. But Suzuha said that the shower room was too small for 3 people and refused.
参ったな。
Suzuha was staring up at the
鈴葉
ceiling.
のせいじゃないよ。オカリンが悪いんだ。
ダルが事前に教えてくれなかったからだろ。
教えるタイミングなんてなかったじゃん。つうかオカリンさ、スマホ片手にブツブツ喋ってたけど、何してたん？
それはその
誰かと話してたよね。
そういうアプリがあって試しに使ってみたんだ。
おお、ギャルゲっぽいやつ。オカリンもそういうのやるようになったのか。そういうことなら後で僕のおすすめアプリ教えるよ。
I guess I managed to fool them about Amadeus.
何にせよ、私がうかつだったよ。おじさん、さっきは驚かせてごめん。
そもそも彼女から隠れる必要があるのか？すでにダルの妹で通っているんだからコソコソする方が逆に怪しまれるだろう。
Suzuha tried to avoid Yuki to begin with. Just being her father was enough to potentially cause a time paradox, she said, and that chance went up even more as she met her mother. But Yuki had found her before long. And Suzuha had been forced to say she was Daru's little sister. Yuki believed it, so why make things any more complicated?
そうなんだけど、母さんが思った以上に私と仲良くなりたがるんだ。あまり会話しすぎるとボロが出かねない。
自分とよく似てる人間が現れたら嫌悪するか興味を示すかのどちらかだろうな。
And Yuki and Mane was the latter.
嫌われた方がずっと楽だよ。
いっそ事実を打ち明けるわけにもいかないか。
Right now, only a few people knew that Suzuha was a time traveler. Me, Daru, Mayuri, and Ferris, really. Because I know she mentioned Big Sis Rumi, but like,
つうか、
like Ferris of all
この
things.
まま何も説明しなくていいんじゃね？天音氏はなんつうか秘密とか無理に聞きたがるような人じゃないと思うんだよね。鈴葉ならよくわかってるんじゃないか。
確かに未来の母さんはそんな人じゃなかったけど。
じゃあ大丈夫だって。いずれ時が来たら僕からちゃんと説明しとくよ。
本当？
ああ。
わかった。父さんに任せる。
Suzuha nodded.
で今後は天音氏を露骨に避けるのやめるっつうことで。
うまくやれるかどうか自信ない。
大丈夫だって。
お前が言うなって話だけどな。
うん。
さっきだって相変わらず苦手意識出しまくってたじゃないかお前。
僕のことは今はどうでもいいっしょ。
Let me see something real quick. How long have I been going for now? Alright. It's only been 40 more minutes. Actually, no. Yeah, no, it has. Alright. And the conversation came to a halt, which meant we started thinking about the voices coming from the shower room.
つうわけで
Daru opened his mouth. Perhaps he couldn't take it
ニ
anymore.
コ生見てもいいかな。ブラチューの生特番があるんだ。
Alright, Bloodtoon. An anime called Bloodtoon. The animation. Originally a manga, it was animated last year. The show drew a lot of attention from anime fans, and the main heroine, Seira Orgel, became popular enough to have many figures. Nico live streaming. A live streaming service offered by the major streaming site Nico Nia Video.
不許可って言っても主張するんでしょ？じゃあどうぞ。
Suzuha sighed and Daru sat in front of the PC and put his headphones on.
何おじさん。
いや、仲のいい親子だと思ってさ。
そうかな。
ああ、未来でもダルはこんな感じだったんだろ。
もっと痩せててかっこよかったけどね。
想像もつかないな。
うん。
Then the conversation died again. There were a ton of things I needed to talk to Suzuha about, but that was why I couldn't say a word. Maybe it was the same for her. Since there was something else to do, Suzuha and I turned back to the TV. News was still
今
on.
日東京銀座でフランスのファッションブランドル・パラディのオープニングイベントが行われました。
As the newscaster spoke, I could see over 100 women lined up in front of the
平和
store.
だね。私が物心ついた頃にはすでにこんな光景は存在しなかった。
On the TV, there was a girl in a pretty outfit, or a girl in a pretty outfit was thinking, or talk. Oh man, I'm bad at talking, bro. There you go, sorry, give me 1 second. There you go. Alright. Okay. On the TV, a girl in a pretty outfit was talking to an interviewer.
羨ましいな。彼女たちは誰も殺さなくていいし、誰にも殺されないんだね。私が育った時代はさ、相手が男だろうと女だろうと容赦なく殺さなきゃいけなかったんだ。次の瞬間には自分の命が終わるかもしれない。そんな恐怖が寝ても覚めてもつきまとってた。恐怖を忘れるためには狂気に身を任せて自分が殺す側に回るしかなかったよ。
That was war. That was Suzuha's life. I've been to many nightmarish world lives, but none of them were that bad.
父さんたちはタイムマシンのことで反政府組織とみなされてね。
Daru had made the time machine that brought Suzuha here. It was far more powerful than the one that existed in the Alpha world line.
私も軍から離脱して父さんたちに加わったから警察や治安部隊に追われることになった。それからはもっともっとひどい戦闘が何度もあったよ。正義のための戦いなんて綺麗な言葉は使いたくない。たくさん殺したし、友達や仲間も大勢殺された。その中には私の母さんもいた。
Daru was still staring at the computer screen, but I could see him twitch. He must have been listening to Suzuha while he pretended to look at the
軍の
screen.
無人機から私を守ろうとして機銃掃射で死んだよ。
This is the first time I heard how Yuki Amane died. She was in the next room right now, having fun in the shower. And now I saw she was going to die.
この目でズタズタにされていく母さんを見た。この全身で母さんの生温かい血を浴びた。
Maybe the reason Suzuha didn't want to talk to her mother in 2010 was that she didn't want her asking about the future. There's no way Suzuha could tell her that.
ねえ、おかりおじさん。
At some point, Suzuha's eyes started to overflow with
この
tears.
世界線の行き着く先は地獄しかないんだ。今すぐじゃなくていい。時間切れには まだ少しだけ時間があると思う。だからもう一度だけ考えてお願い。お願いだよ。
俺は
I knew it. In my mind, I knew it. The right thing to do was to do what she asked. But
死にたくないよ。
the sensation I felt when the knife slipped into her flesh and I took the life of the girl I loved. Went from my hand to my arm and then to the rest of my body, and I started shaking. My vision blurred, then almost went blank. My hands went to my mouth. There was a wave of pain, like my stomach was turning inside out.
おじさん、
大丈夫かオカリン。
悪い。
Suzuha poured me a cup of water and I gulped it down.
ごめん。こんなことまだ話すんじゃなかった。
いや、大したことない。大丈夫だ。
I sank into the sofa and tried to calm
鈴
down.
葉の言いたいことも気持ちもよくわかるんだ。けど俺は何度も世界線を漂流してきた。こことは違う世界線でタイムマシンに運命を翻弄される人たちを見てきた。
There you go. Me go here. So Sorry, I just looking at something. It's a guide. I'm not a Oh no, so apparently Steins Gate Zero is actually shorter. Surprising. Well, what? Actually, no, I can see why. I can see why it's shorter off of the story structure. There you go. Let me lock in. I looked straight into
お
Suzuha's
前の
eyes.
非業の結末さえ見てきた。俺自身もそれに巻き込まれて何もかも無力だってことを知った。
Humanity was powerless before the laws of this
タ
world.
イムマシンを使って世界線を改変するのはこの宇宙の仕組みから逸脱することだ。俺たち人間が手を出していい領域じゃない。いわば神の領分なんだ。それに触れれば俺たちはもっともっと残酷な罰を受けることになる。俺はそう思う。
それがオカリンおじさんの答えなの？
少なくとも今はな。
そう。
ただの逃げだとなじってくれてもいい。
うん、そんなことしないよ。
Suzuha looked up at the ceiling inside. There must have been a habit she picked up lately.
続いてのニュースです。厚生労働省はアメリカで猛威を振るっている新型の脳炎ウイルスについて、今のところ日本国内での発症例は報告されていないと発表しました。ただこの新型脳炎は潜伏期間が長いことから、すでに国内に上陸している可能性も否定できないとして、感染症法に基づき全国の医療機関に対して新型脳炎対策と感染症発生動向の速やかな調査を指示しました。ここからはお茶の水医科大学の春山壮子教授にお話を伺います。春山さん、この新型の脳炎というのは具体的にはどのような症状が出るものなのでしょうか？
新型脳炎は感染力は弱いのですが、潜伏期間が長く突然発症します。症状としては幻覚や記憶障害が主ですね。例えばそうですね、会社で仕事をしていたはずなのに気がつくと家にいたりですとか、会ったこともない人に会った記憶があるというような症例が報告されています。あとは実際には発生していない事件が起こった覚えがあるなどといった記憶の混乱も現れているようです。夢と現実の区別ができなくなったり、時間感覚を失ったり、周りの人と記憶が一致しなくなるので錯乱状態に陥ったり、いわゆる寝ぼけているような状態、デジャブのようなものと言えますが、もっと症状がはっきりしています。
Alright. Deja vu. The name of a strange sensation in which you feel that you've been through a situation before, even if you know that you can't possibly have done so. Situation or the sensation is strong and realistic enough that it cannot simply be attributed to forgetfulness or imagination. But since you can't remember when or where you experienced it before, it creates a strong feeling of unease. The cause of this sensation is still unknown. One theory says it is the result of an extremely rare but temporary disjunction between the parts of the brain that govern recall and memory. Another theory says that it is a result of a temporary spasm of the hippocampal gyrus. Gyrus.
治療法についてはいかがでしょう？
他の脳炎と違いまして、適切な治療を受ければ比較的速やかに完治することが分かっています。ですので、もし国内で感染者が出たとしても、それほど恐れることはないと思いますよ。
The reporter was still talking, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. The information I just heard was shocking. Or was that shocking? New kind of encephalitis. The new symptom she was describing. Losing the ability to discriminate between dreams and reality. Losing your sense of the passage of time. Your memories no longer match those of the people around you. That was exactly the same as reading Steiner. And now we switch. This is a rough scene. It is a rough scene. It's a rough scene. I don't remember how long this scene was though. Okay, yeah, so like 20 minutes. Alright, I can do that. Alrighty, let's do it. That's a really good CG. The interior of the time machine smelled like metal and was covered in instruments of different sizes. The girl inside was sobbing. It had been almost an hour since Suzuha had left to go look around. She assumed that Kagura would have stopped crying by then, but she had no such luck.
いつまで泣いてるつもりだ。しっかりしなきゃダメだ。まゆ姉さんの気持ちを考えろ。
Suzuha, she's like 10. Kagura Ishida looked up at Suzuha, her face filled with tears.
だから泣くんじゃない。鬱陶しい。
Suzuha walked over to Kagura and knelt down so they'd be at eye level. She had no intention of spoiling her. Her goal was to save billions of lives, and this was her first mission.
いいか、これからはかがりもワルキューレの一員とみなす。私の部下として扱う。非戦闘員じゃないからな。
Valkyrie. Demigoddess from Norse mythology. There are many Valkyries, and at least several dozen are given names. They choose who will die on the battlefield and who will be victorious, and they take the souls of those who fought bravely to Valhalla to prepare for the coming Ragnarok. Skuld, one of the three Norns and the goddess of future, is Valkyrie. Yes, she is Operation Skuld.
ここは1975年だ。知ってる人間は誰もいない。父さんもまゆ姉さんも出生してない。つまり誰も守ってくれないんだ。自分の身を守るのは自分だけだと思え。いいな。
Kagura was a brave girl, and she finally realized that now wasn't the time for tears. She tried to stop crying. It wasn't working well, but it was a lot better for her emotions than sobbing. She was a smart girl. Suzuha knew that.
あまり時間がない。この時代の人間にタイムマシンが見つかったら大騒ぎだ。
The machine had landed on the roof of the radio building, which wasn't a spot that people visited often. The chances of anyone finding it were slim. But in this era, they had no one to help them conceal it. That meant that they couldn't stay long. She needed to finish her mission quickly and move to the next time period.
何か失敗したらまたタイムマシンで時間を戻ればいいんじゃないの？燃料の問題があるんだ。ジャンプできる回数は無限じゃない。肝心の場面で動作しなかったら話にならない。そうなんだ。立てるか？
Suzuha stepped out of the machine and beckoned to Kagura. Kagura looked surprised. Her eyes were narrowed at the bright sunlight. The sky above Tokyo in this time period was too dirty to be called blue. Wow, really? Smoke and dust clouds filled with who knows what, or who knew what, were rising from the rows of smokestacks. It all combined with a black exhaust from the cars that scurried along the ground to create smog so thick you could literally see it. Wow. I didn't know the 70s were like that. Wow. What's it called? It's so interesting. Yeah, they were in 1975, and then 35 years later would be 2010. Because, like, of course, like, yeah, I was alive in 2010, but, like, barely. I was 8 years old. I wasn't really alive. I wasn't conscious, I think. Or if I was, it was too early to remember. But yeah, it's just so interesting to think about. The sky above the city was covered by a veil of death. But still, it was the first clear sky that Kagura had ever seen. She only ever known from books and videos that the sky could be this bright. The nuclear weapons used during the Third World War had changed the weather over Tokyo, and her sky constantly covered in dull gray clouds. The sun's light was always weak when it shone through them, and it was never this bright.
私が子供の頃はまだこんな感じの空だった。少しだけど覚えてるよ。
Suzuha looked up at the sky too.
空気が美味しい。
Well, cleaner. In 2036, you needed a filter and a master go outside for any length of time. Compared to that, 1975 was a lot cleaner.
わかるだろ、かがり。父さんたちがどうして世界線の改変に全てをかけていたのか。世界線がどうとか歴史がどうとか、そんな理屈は後でいい。今はただこの空の色を守りたいと思えば。
Kaguri slipped her hand into her pocket and took out the faded green Upa keychain. She stared at it, with a sad look on her face. She was probably thinking about Mayuri, her mother. She was probably trying to understand what it meant that her mother had put her inside the time machine. You know, it's just she wanted to protect her child. That's all it really was. Suzuha decided that Kaguri was alright now and closed the hatch on the time machine from the outside. The lock flipped on automatically. The only person who could open it now was Suzuha, whose biometrics had been loaded into the system ahead of time. Even if someone did find the time machine, it would be a while before they found out what it was.
かがり、これを見ろ。
Kaguri's adorable. Suzuha handed her a printout of a photo.
これ何？ IBN5100 っていうレトロ PC だ。
There you go. Alright, IBM's first portable computer, which went on sale in 1975. The design includes an integrated monitor and keyboard, while it is described as portable. And while it is described as portable, it weighs almost 25 kilograms. In the 2000s, John Teeter revealed that there was a special program or computer language that could only be used on devices of this type, which is not described in the manual. IBM's developers would later admit that he was correct.
私たちの時代に存在していたものはどれも満足に動かない。けどこの時代なら感動品が入手できる。これを手分けして探すのが私とお前の最初のミッションだ。うん。連絡はこれで。
She handed Kaguri a small transceiver.
通信できる距離はかなり短いらしいから気休め程度だと思え。オーキードーキー。90分ごとにこのビルの前に集合。状況を確認。それを繰り返す。いいな。オーキードーキー。
いや、Kaguri's adorable.
いい返事だ。
Suzuha nodded and patted Kaguri on the head.
よし、ミッション開始。
Suzuha was on top of the radio building in 2010, looking down.
35年か。
That's how long it had been in real time since she's spoken to Kaguri here. For her perspective, it had only been a few months. The view from up here had changed a lot since then, and in the next 26 years, it would change even more. She'd seen for herself how this building had changed over a span of 61 years. The thought didn't make her feel sentimental. Instead, she felt the loneliness and fear that comes from having a past not shared with anyone else. Something only her and Okabe can experience. Using a time machine to change the world lines means breaking the rules of the universe. Rotaro Okabe's words flashed through her mind. Still, lately, she'd been thinking more about Kaguri. She'd been searching the city at regular intervals. She was looking for Kaguri Shino. She didn't even know she was in Tokyo. She had no clue. She didn't know what Kagura looked like now, so maybe it was a waste of time. Even so, she had to find Kagura herself. But she hadn't had any better luck today. She turned around and looked toward the time machine. She would come here every day. The primary reason for coming here was to see if her father, Itaru Shida, had been here. Anytime she let her guard down, he would come and try and examine it. She told him it would cause a time paradox, but he didn't listen. She needed to keep a constant watch. To be honest, she had a lot of things she had to do. As she heard the metal door to the roof open. Was it her dad? She squinted into the darkness, but the person she saw was much smaller than Itaru and had cat ears coming out of their head.
にゃにゃ、いたいた。すずにゃん、こんばんはだにゃ。なんだ、ルミ姉さんか。
Ferris Nyan had a spring in her step as she approached the Suzuha.
ルミ姉さんって誰のことかにゃ。フェイリスはフェイリスにゃ。ルミ姉さんはルミ姉さんだよ。
Ferris's real name was Akiha Rumiha. She was Daru's friend and had helped them in many different ways in 2036. Suzuha had known her ever since she was very young and had always called her big sis Rumi. For whatever reason, in this era, she always wanted to be called Ferris, though. When Suzuha asked why, she simply responded, Ferris is Ferris, yeah, an answer which means nothing to Suzuha.
ラボに誰もいなかったからこっちかなと思ったら正解だったにゃ。はい、差し入れ。余り物で悪いんやけど。
Ferris showed her a cake box with the logo from the maid cafe where she worked, Maid Queen Neon Square.
父さんがラボに不在でよかったよ。
If he ate something like that at the soured, he'd get even fatter.
ダルニャンじゃなくてスズニャンへの差し入れにゃ。私に？なんで？にゃふふ、好きなくせに。
Ferris grinned and nudged Suzuha in the side with her elbow.
私は別に。アップルタルトにモンブラン、あとイチゴのショートケーキもあるにゃ。ほら、美味しそうだにゃ。
Ferris opened up the cake box and showed her what was inside. Oh, Suzuha could smell the sweet cream and fruit.
さあ、今すぐ美味しく食べるといいにゃ。心置きなく食べるといいにゃ。ほら、あんして。その可愛いお口に食べさせてあげるにゃ。
Ferris relaxed.
冷蔵庫にしまって明日食べる。すずにゃんはストイックにゃ。
Ferris laughed and handed over the box.
賞味期限は明日だから明日中に食べなきゃダメにゃぞ。ありがとう。どういたしまして。
Ferris gave her a mischievous wink and looked up at the time machine beside them.
ダルニャンのタイムマシン研究の方はどうかにゃ。頑張ってはいるみたい。ルミ姉さん、このマシンまだここに置いておいても。
Suzuha looked around the roof as she asked. It was solely thanks to Ferris that no one had really noticed the massive object on the roof. She was the heir to a rich family that had a lot of influence in this area and had contributed a lot to the development of Akihabara. She was helping hide the time machine.
このフロアというか屋上はフェイリスが借り上げちゃったから平気にゃ。オーナーさんには体感ゲームの研究をしてるって言ってあるにゃ。ちょっと苦しいわけにゃけど。助かるよ。気にしないでいいにゃ。この世界のエレメンタルを売薬兵たちの魔の手から。
Alright. Whoa. Okay. Elementals. The four spirits who control the elements of earth, water, fire, and air. Their existence was first proved by the Swiss alchemist Paracelsus in his book, The Book of Fairies. Sorry. He described them as beings not dead, like ghosts, but not alive, like humans. As being spiritual creatures of an extremely nebulous nature. Paracelsus struggled to explain exactly what they were, and in the end decided to classify them as things. He divided them as follows. The element of earth is controlled by the... I can't pronounce that word. I don't know how to pronounce it. Pygmy. Magpie. Oh, pygmy. Yeah, pygmy. Okay, by the pygmies of the mountain or the gnomes. The element of water is controlled by the nymphs of the water or the undines. Or the undine. That's undine. Undine, yeah, undine. The element of fire is controlled by the salamanders of the fire or the Vulcans. And the element of air is controlled by the sylphs of the wind or the sylvestrous. Wow, I never heard of that. Paracelsus' theory had a huge effect on alchemists and authors both of his own and later generations, who filled in the gaps in his work. In the fantasy genre in particular, elementals have become a mainstay. They have. It's very true. There you go. Byakhee. Okay. Winged interstellar creatures that appear in the Cthulhu mythos. They were created by August Derleth, the co-creator of the Cthulhu mythos along with H.P. Lovecraft, and appear in such stories as The House on Curwen Street. They are described as being chimera-like creatures around 3 meters tall with the wings of a petrosaur. Excuse me, pterosaur. Pterosaur, yeah. The P is silent. The legs of an eagle and a tail like a bee's. A tail like a bee's? You mean a stinker? Whatever. Despite their terrifying appearance, they understand human speech, and if they feel it's in their best interest, they can even work together with humans. In space, they usually travel at around 1/10 of light speed, but an organ called the hoon in their tail allows them to fly faster than the speed of light. The Byakhee are supposedly servants of Hastur, the god of shepherds, a creation of Ambrose Bierce, author of the famous Devil's Dictionary. Wow. I didn't think we were gonna get Cthulhu lore in this game.
So.
Yeah, she don't know what she talking about. I ain't hear a word you say.
いや、今からしたら未来か。思ってたんだけどさ、ルミ姉さんの話って時々すごく難しくなるんだよね。一体何語？考えるんじゃない。感じるのにゃ。いいや。寒いにゃ。フェイリスはお家に帰ろうかにゃ。
In the end, she could never get an answer. To Suzuha, Ferris is always a great mystery. How little does she know? It's all because of Okabe.
送っていくよ。一緒に出よう。
How gallant.
それじゃあついでにうちでご飯も食べてくといいにゃ。そういうつもりで言ったわけじゃないんだけど。どうせ普段大したもの食べてないにゃ。スズニャンのストイックさを見てるとフェイリスがなんとかしてあげにゃきゃーって思っちゃうにゃ。保護欲？母性？とにかくそういうのがかきたてられるのにゃ。私は大丈夫だから。
Before she finished her sentence, she felt someone looking at her. She glanced around. Someone's watching us. She listened carefully. She definitely heard a very faint sound from the direction of the metal door that led to the stairs. It was small enough that Suzuha was only able to notice it. Oh, wow, that hurt. Oh, goodness, because of her training. Oh, man, that hurt.
誰かいる？にゃにゃ。多分話を聞かれた。
Most of the discussion was worthless, but they talked about the time machine. A little. If someone heard that. Suzuha yanked her gun out of her jacket and in an instant ran towards the stairs as fast as she could. She heard someone running down the stairs as soon as she did. The sound, heavy military boots in a white stripe, got further and further away. She opened the door and jumped onto the landing. Then she raced down the stairs, skipping 3 steps with each stride. But still, it wasn't fast enough. Suzuha was born fast, so she'd be trained to be faster, but it wasn't enough. When she finally made it to the 2nd floor, she could hear the loud revving of a motorcycle. She panicked and slipped on an object that had been left halfway up the stairs, then rolled her way to the bottom. She managed to get into the right position and protect her head, so it was her hips that struck the ground. She forced herself to stand up and run outside. She could see the taillights of a large motorcycle speeding away. The driver was wearing a black helmet and riding a suit, and already a good distance away, so she couldn't even tell if there was a man or woman. They revved their engine loudly as if to mock her, and it spun a corner and disappeared on the center street. A little later, Ferris caught up. She put the gun in her hands back in her jacket holster and brushed away hair that sweat had stuck to her brow. Okay, that makes sense.
今の誰にゃわからないけど一般人じゃない訓練されてると思う訓練階段に何か落ちてなかったバッグが転がってたにゃちょうど死角になる位置だった多分わざと落としたんだよしかも私がそこを通るタイミングでエンジンを空ぶかしした見事に引っかかったよトラップってことかにゃああいうことがとっさにできるっていうのは特殊な訓練を受けてるからだじゃなきゃ無理
Suzuha glared in a direction that the bike disappeared and started to think. Who was it? CERN? There was an unofficial CERN group, the Rounders, that were searching for IBM 5100s in Akihabara. Okabe Rentaro had told her that, but he only encountered them in another world line.
誰かはわからないけど私たちの他にタイムマシンのことを知ってる奴がいるのは間違いない
Was it that they knew about it, or weren't going to do anything more? Or did they intend to steal the time machine from her? Since she didn't know, she had to assume the worst, or she wouldn't be prepared to deal with it. She looked up to the sky and sighed. It was becoming a bad habit.
ねえルミ姉さんこのことはオカリンおじさんには内密にしておいてなんで今のオカリンおじさんが知ったらタイムマシンを破壊しろって言いかねない危険だからってでしょそうにゃけど私は絶対にマシンを守るよシュタインズゲートの入り口へオカリンおじさんを連れて行かなきゃいけないんだからそれが未来の父さんとの私をここに送り出してくれた人たちみんなとの約束だからさすずにゃわかったにゃその代わりダルニャにだけはちゃんと話しておくことオキドキ
The last part was almost a whisper as her words melted into Akihabara's sky. Yeah, okay. Let me save real quick. Let me see. How long have I been going for now?
魔法準備はできたかい
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
はい
Whoa. Okay, almost 2 hours. Almost 2 hours. How long was the last one? An hour and 45, and then the one before that was 2 hours exactly. And then the one before that was an hour and 30, and that's the last of the Steins Gate Zero streams. Okay, okay. So yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. What's it called? I could go for longer, but now that I'm realizing it, these sections can go on pretty long. I'm not gonna lie. So I'd rather play it safe and just end it here, because what's it called? Yeah, because I don't want to go for too long and then be stuck here. Also, I have work the next day, so don't want to go for too long. But yeah, anyway, so you know, gonna end it here for now. Of course, thank you all so much for watching. I've been enjoying playing this game. Have some thoughts, but I'll save those for later, like probably when we get to the first ending. But yeah, you know, thank you all so much for watching. Really enjoyed doing this stream. It's crazy. My first stream for this game was a month ago, over a month ago at that actually. And then my next one was 2 weeks after, and then 2 weeks after that is when we continued. So we're officially, we are in the Steins Gate timeline, like the Steins Gate Zero timeline, as in like I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game officially, like, because like the first stream was definitely more like I'm playing the game but I can't play it right now. But now it's like, yeah, like we're playing the game. So but yeah, no, let me actually put this video into actually, yeah, it'd be better to wait until the stream's over. But yeah, anyways, so thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoy, and as always, you know, hope y'all stay safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.